Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, the President reviews security and insurgency in the northeast as Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima raises hope on the return of the Chibok girls. Chief of Defense Staff confirms takeover of Baga military base, but says army will soon reclaim the area from Boko Haram. APC presidential candidate General Muhammadu Buhari promises a massive crowd in River State that he'll improve Nigeria. And scientists in Oxford University in the United Kingdom begin new vaccine trial for Ebola cure.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's electricity regulator extends the deadline for an increase in tariffs for residential consumers.
And on sports news tonight, Jordan's Prince Ali announced his intention to stand for FIFA presidency in the forthcoming elections.
We begin tonight with the Emergency Security Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, convened by President Goodluck Jonathan. The meeting reviewed the security situation in the country and resolved that the military needs to do a lot more to defeat terror. For the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, the threat of the insurgency is not an excuse to put off elections in the northeast. He also raised hopes that the Chibok girls will soon be rescued. Our State House correspondent Chukwuma Onekose reports.
Barely a month into the general elections in Nigeria and palpable insecurity in the land, especially in the northeast, many Nigerians would want to know what the federal government is doing to secure lives and property. And that must be the concern of the president and commander-in-chief as he and the vice president gather the governors from the northeastern part of the country, the national security advisor, the service chiefs, the DG SSS, Inspector General of Police, and the DG National Intelligence Agency. For over 2 hours, they brainstormed while State House correspondents waited. After the meeting, we sought to know the outcome. The governor of Yobe State, in the eye of the storm, calls for deployment of more troops.
Appealing to the federal government to deploy more troops, in addition to what we have on ground, to arrest the situation in our various states.
The governor of Borno State, also in the eye of the storm, last year decried what he called the poor motivation of the Nigerian military in the fight against Boko Haram. What's his stand today on the military?
They are making efforts. I want to leave it at that. I don't want to pass any negative comments. There are people with blood runnings in their veins facing the insurgents. So I have to be respectful of the institution.
And we feel when you listen to Shekau say that we are still asking girls that have been married out to come back? Those girls have been married out and now we're joking about it.
Shekau is a lunatic. It's a deranged element. It's not somebody that people should should be with any modicum of respect. His actions are beneath the acts of even an animal, believe me. But as I said, we are not resting on our oars. We'll continue to support the military by providing them with quality information when it comes available. We believe, in spite of people's pessimism, that in the fullness of time, and not in a distant far off, we are going to get back the girls. We hope we will.
And safety during the elections?
It's amusing when people dwell so much on the elections. Elections are for the living. But elections are being conducted in war-torn Afghanistan. Elections were held recently in Iraq, in Syria, and in so many other places. So it's not an issue of contention. The most important issue is how to safeguard the lives and properties of our people, how to recover our lost territories, how to recover the lost Chibok girls.
The meeting was said to be fruitful and a rich cross-pollination of ideas. Ideas many Nigerians hope will indeed bring a lasting solution to insurgency bedeviling the land. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defence Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, has confirmed the attack by the Boko Haram sect on the multinational task force base in the border town of Baga, Borno State. The defence chief, who was at first hesitant when approached by journalists after the security meeting at the presidential villa, disclosed that only Nigerian troops remain at the border as the Chadian and Nigerian troops have withdrawn. The Chief of Defence Staff also gave reasons for the non-closure of the border.
Is it true that Chadian forces and Nigerian forces are full out of the multinational force? That they are full out of multinational force?
Wait now.
Oh, you need to comment, sir.
Somebody is coming.
This one is relevant to you, sir.
Go to
No, you are the one in charge.
So what's the question?
That the Chadian forces and Nigerian forces are full out of multinational force.
No, they have not pulled out of multinational force because we have held several meetings. We are still part of multinational force. What has been happening is that they have not contributed people to the point of Baga. Chad had people on their own side, but I believe they have withdrawn. Nigeria had people with us. They too withdrew and left Nigeria only at the multinational joint task force headquarters.
So there is a suggestion that we should close the border between us and Chad and all the other countries, sir. What's your opinion, sir?
Well, I wish it could be closed, but how do you close such a very large border? And it is not for military to close border anyway, is it? No, it's not for military.
And what about the attack on the military base, sir? The attack on the military base in Baga?
Of course there was an attack.
Then what happened, sir?
No, don't worry, we are at work.
Sir, can we take back Baga?
Why not?
So what's the
outcome? No, I can't give that one. I can't give you exactly what's going to happen.
What's the outcome of this meeting with the president?
Oh, no, I'm not mandated to speak of that one. Somebody's coming. Who is coming? Somebody's coming.
The Chief of Defence Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade. From security, we move on to politics, and the President has given the assurance that Nigeria will have a successful democratic transition through free and fair general elections this year. President Goodluck Jonathan made the commitment while inaugurating his campaign organization in Abuja, saying Nigerians and the international community have no reason to worry. He asked other party leaders to encourage members of the organization to make all the campaigns issue-based. Our correspondent Lanre Lasisi reports.
Party officials and chieftains of the People's Democratic Party all gathered for the inauguration of the presidential campaign organization for the 2015 elections. It was an event filled with speeches and words of encouragement to members of the campaign organization. These members say the coming election is a familiar terrain, one they have won 3 times already.
The opposition has nothing to offer. What they are interested in is to bring propaganda to bear. This is the point about this presidential campaign. It is about darkness and light. Correct. We are talking about tangible achievements, and we are all keeping quiet. Why are we keeping quiet? We are building dams all over Nigeria. We have improved the power sector. Even railways that were not working in the last 15 years are working today. Why are we keeping quiet? There is no point in following the diversion and the distraction that the opposition is getting into. If they unwittingly drag us into distractions, then we'll be playing their own game. We're bigger than that. We should let Nigerians know. Most importantly, Mr. President, this nation will give you a Valentine love on the 14th of February this year, because that's Valentine's Day. It is then that Nigerians will show that they love you because you love them.
The national chairman of the party appealed to President Jonathan on the state of the party.
The members of the PDP are saying we should not be used and dumped, because this is part of the problem we are facing today. Members of our party that have left our party have left because of lack of equity, fairness, and justice. Baboon go walk, monkey go chop, but baboon go walk and baboon will chop. We don't mind if the monkey chops as well. so all of us can chop, but nobody should be left behind.
The president touched briefly on this issue, then focused on the coming elections.
There may be issues arising from the party primaries, of course the national chairman made reference to that, which have led to some of our members expressing grievances. But this is the time for all of us to come together and work as one family. At the end of the day, everybody will be used in one way or the other. The eyes of the international community are focused on the transition that lies ahead of us. The fifth post-military rule general election that will be conducted under a civilian dispensation in this country. The world is asking, will Nigeria get it right? My categorical response to that is yes, we must. And surely we will.
The president also commissioned campaign vehicles for the election.
Now, with just a little over 30 days to the elections, the party will now be going around the country to meet with Nigerians, to converse for votes, and ensure that victory is theirs when the results are announced next month. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Now in part two, after the break, the All Progressive Congress presidential hopeful General Muhammadu Buhari again frowns on the level of insurgency in the country. That's in a moment. Do join us again.